The Chosen One. Mindset. Transforming your financial life in 5 steps. There's a moment, quiet, almost invisible, when someone's financial life starts to change. It's not when they discover a secret stock. It's not when they stumble into a lucky break. It's not even when they make more money. It's when they stop seeing money as something that happens to them and start seeing it as something they command. That shift is what I call the Chosen One mindset. Not because you're special in a fantasy sense, not because the universe owes you anything, but because you decide, deliberately, that you will no longer live as a passive character inside your own financial story. Chosen ones don't wait to feel ready. They don't confuse hope with a plan. They don't worship motivation. They build identity, structure, and systems, and they keep showing up long after the excitement fades. If you've ever felt stuck in a cycle of earning, spending, stressing, repeating, this is your way out. Here are 5 steps that transform finances at the root. Mindset, behavior, and identity. Step 1. Adopt the identity of the financially powerful. Most people try to change money without changing the person holding the money. That's why they can read books, watch videos, even take courses, and still end up back in the same place. Because strategy can't override identity for long. If you secretly believe, I'm not good with numbers, I'll start when life calms down, money always disappears, I'm just not disciplined, then every plan you make will eventually sabotage itself. The Chosen One. Mindset starts with a clear identity statement. I am the kind of person who makes money obey. Not because you're perfect, but because you're committed. What this identity looks like in real life. A financially powerful identity is built on behaviors, not feelings. You face your numbers, even when they make you uncomfortable. You make decisions based on reality, not impulse. You stop outsourcing your future to luck. You accept that boredom is part of wealth. This is a hard truth, but it's freeing. You don't need more confidence. You need more proof. And proof comes from small wins repeated. The identity script. Use it daily for 30 days. Say it out loud. Write it. Repeat it until it becomes natural. I don't rely on motivation. I rely on structure. I don't avoid numbers. I master them. I make long-term choices even when short-term temptations show up. My future self is a priority, not an afterthought. Action today. 10 minutes. Write 1 sentence. I am becoming the person who whack. Fill in the blank with a behavior. Tracks spending weekly. Saves before spending. Invests consistently. Pays off high-interest debt aggressively. Builds multiple income streams. This is the first step. Becoming the person who wins. Step 2. Stop the financial bleeding. Control the leaks. You can't build wealth in a boat that's quietly sinking. Many people assume their problem is income, when the real problem is leaks. Small, repeated choices that drain their margin and destroy momentum. Even a high income won't save someone who leaks money through lifestyle drift, emotional spending, and invisible daily decisions. The Chosen One doesn't shame spending. They control it. The 5 most common leaks. Lifestyle creep. Every raise becomes a new expense. Convenience addiction. Paying extra to avoid discomfort. Delivery, upgrades, impulse buys. Emotional spending. Using purchases as therapy, reward, identity. Subscription drift. Small monthly charges that become permanent taxes. Penalty living. Late fees, interest charges, overdrafts, money lost for nothing. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people aren't broke. They're leaking. The 3-number reset that restores control. You don't need complicated spreadsheets to get traction. You need 3 numbers. True monthly income, average after-tax take-home, monthly baseline, must-pay survival costs, monthly gap, income minus baseline. Your entire next move becomes clear once you know these 3. If your gap is positive, Build savings, invest, and grow assets. If your gap is small, reduce leaks and increase income with focused effort. If your gap is negative, you need a reset plan immediately. Action today, 20 minutes. Open your last 30 days of statements. List your top spending categories. Circle anything that didn't truly improve your life. Then choose one leak to eliminate for 30 days, not 10 leaks. 1. Chosen ones don't win by being perfect. They win by being consistent. Step 3. Build systems that work when you're tired. If your financial plan depends on you being strong every day, it will fail the moment life gets real. And life always gets real. The chosen one. Mindset understands a simple rule. Willpower is unreliable. Systems are loyal. So instead of fighting yourself, you build a structure that makes the right choice automatic. The simplest system that changes everything. Use 3 buckets, accounts or categories. Bills, bucket rent, utilities, minimum payments, essentials. Spending bucket guilt-free money for your daily life. When it's empty, spending stops, no debate. Future bucket savings plus investing. This gets funded first, not last. This is the shift from chaotic spending to intentional living. Automation is the chosen one's superpower. Set up automations that run without your emotions. Automatic transfer to savings on payday. Automatic investing weekly/monthly. Automatic minimum debt payments to avoid late fees. Weekly money meeting, 15 minutes, to review and adjust. A lot of people think starting small is pointless. It isn't. Starting small is how identity is formed. Action today, 15 minutes. Set one automatic transfer to your future bucket on payday, even if it's tiny. The amount is less important than the message, I pay my future first. Step 4. Convert income into assets. Stop being a money pass-through. Here's a brutal question. If your income stopped for 6 months, would your life collapse? If the answer is yes, you don't have financial freedom. You have financial dependence. The chosen one mindset stops treating money as something to spend and starts treating money as something to convert. The wealth formula. Income to margin to assets to cash flow to freedom. No margin means no assets. No assets means no independence. No independence means your life is always negotiable. The key is conversion, turning earned money into something that grows, produces, or protects. What counts as an asset? An asset is something that produces income, cash flow, or grows in value over time, or increases your ability to earn more reliably. Assets can be financial, but they can also be strategic. A skill can be an asset. A business system can be an asset. A professional network can be an asset. Choose one asset path for the next 12 months. Most people fail because they try to do everything at once. Chosen one's focus. Pick 1. Skill asset path. Learn a high-demand skill that increases income. Sales, coding, editing, design, data, language, marketing. Business asset path. Build a scalable side income. Services, digital products, e-commerce, consulting, content monetization. Investment asset path. Consistent contributions into diversified long-term investments, appropriate to your context and risk profile. Once you choose, stop flirting with distractions. The chosen one. Mindset doesn't chase shiny objects. It builds momentum. Action today, 10 minutes. Write this down. For the next 12 months, I'm building assets. Then list the first small step you'll take this week. Step 5. Protect, then compound. The quiet discipline of real wealth. A lot of people can make money. Fewer can keep it. Even fewer can compound it. The chosen one mindset understands something most people learn too late. Wealth isn't built by one big win. It's built by survival plus consistency plus time. Before you chase higher returns, you build protection. Protection comes first because life happens. Emergency buffer. Start small, then grow. Insurance appropriate to your situation. Debt strategy, especially high-interest debt. Risk rules. Never risk rent money. Never invest money you need next month. This isn't fear, it's professionalism. Then compounding does its work. Compounding rewards, patience, repetition, discipline, emotional control. Compounding punishes, panic, decisions, impulsive spending, all-in thinking, quitting after 2 weeks because it didn't change fast enough. Here's the mindset upgrade. The goal is not to get rich fast. The goal is to get free permanently. Action today, 15 minutes. Write your never again rules, 3 of them. Never again will I carry high-interest debt for lifestyle purchases. Never again will I ignore my finances for 90 days. Never again will I invest without understanding what I'm buying. Chosen ones don't rely on luck. They rely on rules. The 30-day Chosen One Challenge. If you want this to become real, don't just read it, run it. Daily, 5 minutes. Check spending quickly. No judgment, just awareness. Repeat your identity script. Weekly, 15 minutes. 1. Money meeting. Review spending. Plan next week. Cancel or reduce 1 leak. Monthly, 60 minutes. Update your 3 numbers. Income, baseline, gap. Increase your future bucket automation by a small amount. This is not dramatic. It's not flashy. It's not viral. It works. Final message. You're not behind. You're understructured. If you've struggled with money, it doesn't mean you're lazy or broken. It usually means you were trying to win a long game with short-term tools. Motivation, hope, random effort. The Chosen One mindset is different. Identity over emotion. Systems over willpower, assets over appearances, protection over ego, compounding over hype. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a plan you can repeat when you're tired, stressed, and busy. That's what transforms a financial life. If you want, share 3 details, 1 line each. Income type, stable or variable. Biggest financial pressure right now, your number 1 goal for the next 12 months. I'll translate these 5 steps into a simple, practical blueprint tailored to your situation. The Chosen One Mindset in 2026. A 5-minute read on the economy and how to move like you mean it. 2026 isn't a boom year or a doom year. It's a tight, strategic year, the kind of year that rewards people who operate with systems, not feelings. Global institutions are basically describing the same picture with different lenses. Growth is holding up, inflation has cooled compared to the recent past, but the world is running on divergent forces, trade tensions, policy uncertainty, and uneven regional performance. That's exactly the environment where the Chosen One mindset matters most. Not as a motivational slogan, but as a practical stance, calm execution in an uncertain world. What 2026 looks like, macro, in plain English 1, growth is steady, but not uniform. The IMF's January 19, 2026 update projects global growth at 3.3% in 2026 and 3.2% in 2027, describing resilience supported by technology investment and adaptability even as trade headwinds persist. The World Bank's January 13, 2026 Global Economic Prospects sees global growth easing to 2.6% in 2026 before ticking up to 2.7% in 2027. Still resilient, but constrained by trade tensions and policy uncertainty. Different numbers, same message. The world is moving forward, but carefully. 2. Inflation has cooled, so central banks are no longer uniformly tightening. But don't confuse cooling with easy money. In the U.S., The Federal Reserve held the policy rate at 3.50% to 3.75% on January 28, 2026, signaling caution and data dependence rather than rushing to cut. In Europe, the growth outlook remains subdued in key places. Germany, for example, has trimmed its 2026 growth forecast to about 1%, citing uncertainty and slow reform rollout. Meanwhile, some emerging markets are already cutting more aggressively as inflation drops. Ghana's central bank cut its policy rate again on January 28, 2026, as inflation fell sharply from prior highs. 3. Trade and geopolitics are a real economic variable again. Reuters polling in late January 2026 frames the year as steady growth despite a shifted world order, but emphasizes that tariffs, trade rerouting, and geopolitical shocks remain key risks, even if forecasts haven't collapsed. 4. Vietnam. Still strong momentum relative to many peers, but not immune to global conditions. The Asian Development Bank's Outlook page projects Vietnam's GDP growth at about 6.0% in 2026, after a stronger 2025, with inflation forecasts remaining relatively contained in their view. So what does a chosen one do with this? The chosen one. Playbook for 2026, 5 steps, economy aware. Step 1. Accept the rules of 2026. Steady is the new fast. In a mixed, policy-sensitive world, the chosen one stops chasing dramatic moves and starts chasing repeatable execution. If the macro mood swings, your system doesn't. Step 2. Build liquidity like a professional, not a pessimist. When policy is uncertain and trade tensions are elevated, optionality matters. The chosen one keeps a cash buffer not out of fear, but because liquidity lets you avoid forced selling, handle shocks, seize opportunities. Step 3. Treat interest rates as sticky, not guaranteed to fall fast. Yes, inflation is cooler than before, but central banks are signaling caution. The Fed's January 28th decision to hold rates is a reminder. Don't build your personal plan assuming quick, continuous rate cuts. Chosen ones reduce fragile debt exposure and avoid lifestyle commitments that only work in a perfect rate scenario. Step 4. Bet on adaptability. Skills and productivity win in divergent economies. The IMF explicitly points to technology investment and adaptability as forces offsetting headwinds. Your personal version of that is simple. Build or upgrade a skill that increases earning power, sales, data, coding, editing, languages, operations, AI workflows. In 2026, career alpha often beats market alpha. Step 5. Diversify like you respect uncertainty. Trade friction and regional divergence mean concentration risk is real. The chosen one doesn't gamble identity on one bet. They diversify. Income streams, time horizons, and risk exposures. This is general education, not individualized investment advice.